So we've got a pump going on, but here's two things that people are not considering that are hiding on the Bitcoin chart and the DXY chart. Let's break this down. What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And tonight we have a Bitcoin pump happening. Everyone is excited about this great big green candle that is forming right about now. But there are a couple of glaring things that I would like to present to you that nobody else is talking about at the moment. Now, before we jump head first into this chart analysis, let me remind you that this is definitely not financial advice. This is just my opinion, and I'm only sharing with you the possibilities of what could happen, especially tonight, because they are contrary to what everybody else seems to be talking about with this so-called pump. So to begin with, on this 4-hour chart, first off, let's just kind of call a spade, and let's just be real here. This current green candle is not that big of a pump. However, it's big enough for people to get over exuberated, super excited, and call for an all-out bull run. Of course, that's always the way it goes. Now, when we compare this to some of these other large green candles, it's not too much different, okay? In fact, this one is bigger for now. This one was double the size, all right? So I'm not very impressed about this green candle that is forming on the chart. But here are the things that I want to point out to you that are just possible scenarios that could play out that no one else is looking at. And to show you what I found, let's just take a look at the one-day chart instead of this 4-hour chart, which seems to be doing a double peak on the stochastic. So flipping to the one-day, here we go. Here is the one-day chart, and we're going to scrunch this in so we can see what we have. All right, now this is where I was saying that this might be a stretch. But what I see on this chart is a massive bear flag, a bear pennant that has this flat bottom or descending triangle formation. So it's an upside down bull pennant, okay? And I'm thinking that this is going to go on for a while, and then at some point within the next week or two, we're going to fall out of the bottom, and we're going to fall out pretty hard. And the reason why I say that is because of what we have seen before now, and also what we see with the DXY. Now, I lean towards bearish breakdown because of the fact that we have all of the negative news going on. World economy, bankruptcy with Genesis, with all of the FTX fallout, the domino effect that we see happening with all of the different companies that were connected to FTX having holdings in some of the crypto projects that they were illegally selling and spending people's money on that they never bought the tokens for. All right, so when you consider all of that, where does the money come from to prop this market up? When the feds are doing quantitative tightening and when everything is looking like doom and gloom, and when inflation is on the rise and the chart looks bearish, where does the money come from to blow this market up, to pump this chart up, rather? I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. Now, let's just look at the DXY, and I'm going to show you the scenario that will lend to the probability of a breakdown. Now, here is the DXY, and we have that black dashed line that had been going on for quite some time, and we had bounced on the black dashed line, and then we finally failed it at the point where the DXY went below the 50 EMA on the one-day chart. But then look what it did down here. What do you see? Well, If you guessed a bounce off of the 200 EMA twice, you guessed right. So once and then twice, we bounce off of the 200 and it shows support. So I'm going to extend this out here just a little bit. It'll probably look something like that. And then our 50 will probably continue on something like this. And this is what I'm going to tell you is possible. We could come back down and test this line. And once we get to that line, if the 200 is a support, then this could be the time that we possibly go back up and test or violate the 50 EMA, and then DXY has another surge up. And if this happens in conjunction with everything else that is going on FUD-wise in the market, then we're going to see a massive drop in Bitcoin. Now, I'm working on a special report because I've been putting some pieces of the puzzle together with Tether, USDT, and then also FTX. And the bank that is down in the Bahamas, that is the main bank that Tether operates from. And you'll be surprised to hear what I have to share. And this is the potential black swan that could crash the entire market that nobody wants to talk about. Everyone wants to believe that Tether is fine, and 70% of the backing to the 1-to-1 with the US dollar, the 70% on paper, is all fine and dandy. Well, you might think twice about that after my special report. So if this scenario plays out, then Bitcoin goes down. Now, there is a possibility that the DXY could fail the 200 EMA and start into its downtrend. I'm not convinced at all that that's going to happen, and I don't see any evidence right now that it will, even though other people are reporting that the DXY is going to start its downtrend. I disagree. Show me the evidence before I'll follow that argument. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you something else that's very interesting. So there's our little bear flag. But let's just zoom way out, and let's go here to the 1 week chart, and I want to show you something. I'm going to show you two somethings, and then I'm done. This won't be a long video. First, let's draw out the bear flag that occurred after the market cycle peak. Here we go. Let's just put in a poll. And then, of course, there is the flag right there. We all know about this flag. It is already broken down. And what they say is you take the pole and you shove it down here, and then you come over and you get a price. And guess where this pole just about magically lines up with? That's right. It lines up with the red dashed line. Now, see, we discovered the red dash line way long time ago when we were looking at this big fat volume node right here. And I was saying that this red dash line was the line of demarcation for a safe recovery and rebound of Bitcoin and diving down into the abyss for an extended bear market. So thus far, this red dash line has prospered us well. Well, it actually hasn't prospered us unless you have shorted Bitcoin, but it has told the truth. Now, let's continue on. So let's take that out and let's look at the next bear flag. All right. Let's get out the line tool here and let's look on the chart. So this first one stopped here, and then we had a miniature bear flag after that point. Let's go ahead and draw that one in just so you can see it. This one is a little harder. It was a bear pennant, and it looked kind of like this, okay? Something like that. And then when you take the flagpole out and you put it at the oops, we want to do an undo there. You stick this thing out here at the tip because it's a pennant. And then it shows where the dip is going to go to. And sure enough, it did. It went actually lower than what this pole that I just drew. If we extend the pole up a little bit right there to the tip of that last flag. Now let's do it again. And then now you can see that it gets us to this next point. So that one played out. So that's two flags. All right, let's just count these right now. The successful bear flags. There's flag 1. And then miniature flag 2. Now let's look at the third flag. So going back to our drawing tool, let's put this flagpole back in here. So now this pole is here. And what we're going to do is just kind of extend this one down to the bottom of this flag formation. And this is like a flag that was kind of drooping down. It would be similar to descending or a lowering wedge. Well, whatever you call it. Let's just put the daggum flag in here and let's move the pole and show what could possibly happen. So then we take this pole and we're going to knock it out down here and it goes off the chart. Now, if I scrunch this up, I'd have to redraw it. In fact, let's go ahead and redraw it and scrunch this in so we can see this, because I need you to see how this works out. And we'll just zoom in on this action right here in these last two bear flags. Okay, so here's the pole. Let's go ahead and draw this in. After this point, we came down to here. There's the flag right there. You see it, I see it, we all see it. Taking the pole out, and let's just bring it out of the wedge there. And depending on how you break this out, if you break it out here, it points to 12,000. But when you break it out here, it says that the extent of this drop goes to 11,000. And we've heard a lot of talk about 11,000. Now, we're not there yet because we've had a smaller flag that has happened within the capitulation of the bigger flag. Here's the one that we are in the midst of that has this big, fat, nasty red candle drop. Boy, that was an ugly drop right there. Scary one. So let's go ahead and let's draw this one in. We just need to put the pole in because I've already got on TradingView the other two lines of this flag. Now let's pull it out and replace it from the tip. And where does this one go? It agrees. It goes down into the 11,000 range. Okay, so we can put a box that just envelops this entire node that goes up to 11,000. And this is the worst case scenario. So I'm not saying it's really going to happen. It's not guaranteed. We don't know. But let's jump back up here. We're going to have to scrunch this down again and go back to our counting of these flags. I'm going to have to draw them back up there again. So this was the first flag. That was the big one. Okay. And then we've got the miniature flags like the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. We come down again and we've got a big flag here. And then we had a little miniature. We won't even count this one here, but we did have a miniature flag that went from here. And that one, if you measure it and break down, it comes down to the bottom of where we're at right now. And then here's another one, this one right here that confirms the previous big one. So let's go ahead and count these things again. We had the big one. That's, let's start the numbering over. The big one, number 1. Then we had the Little Dipper. That was our second bear flag. Then we had the big one, number 3. We had that miniature one, number 4. It broke out, and then now we're on number 5. So what more do we need to know? Here we have 5 bear flags in a row that we have sat here and witnessed ever since, what's the date? Going all the way back here when this one finished on April the 11th of 2022. And we're still going down. So then you hear all of these people talking about bull market, and most people are not saying it. But you still have the nitwits out there that are claiming that we're going to break out and just go on a rip now. And here's one of the most common phrases that I hate. This annoys me to no end. And post in the comments if this annoys you as much as it annoys me. Here it is, and I quote, "Look at this chart. Bitcoin has never done this before." Oh, I cannot stand it when people say that. If I see one more video where someone says that Bitcoin has never done this before, I'm going to read through my screen and I am going to pimp slap the crap out of the person who is making that statement. I shouldn't say that. That's mean. There will be no pimp slapping. The overall movement and trend of this market is down. We have not broken this bearish trending trading channel yet. Okay, all we're doing is bouncing up and down within this channel. Okay, and that's it. There's no evidence of a breakout happening. And people can run their yaps all they want. Until we do this, it's a bear market. And it's not done yet. and it'll probably continue for several months. So until there is confirmation, this is all we have to go by. And then again, the volume nodes, the big fat ones down here in the 10 to 11,000 range. Now, we don't need to get into all the fundamental news that could help to capitulate Bitcoin, but it's out there. You know what's going on with FTX and from Luna to Celsius to Genesis, the whole bit. It's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. And this is all feeding into this bear market. So that's what we have. And now the last thing that I will post here to show you that is interesting, and then I'm done. This is the piece de resistance. I'm going to show you something really interesting. Post your comments below. I want to know, what do you think about this? What are the probabilities or possibilities of a capitulation? And is this just a miniature bear market rally within this bear flag that we are looking at right now? Post your comments below, and I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. And if you would like to help defray the costs of production of these videos, you may do so by submitting a super thanks. And I thank all of my supporters. You know who you are, who have constantly been helping me out with super thanks and super chat donations. Stay tuned for the special report, and I will be going live within the next couple of days. And we're going to talk BTC. We're going to talk market conditions, and we're going to run through the altcoins. Well, that's all I've got for now. This is Carlton, and I am out.